Sometimes you see Americans especially, they say love yourself. Huh? And what it means, love yourself, it sounds like something we shouldn't be talking about now. Spiritually?
They say,
What we say, we have nothing to say except to listen to what our Lord says and the prophets they're saying. And when we listen to what they're saying, we will hear what our spirit is saying. We're not going to hear what our ego is saying. So, I don't know which ayat it is saying Allah is saying love yourself, but I see so many ayats Allah is saying love Allah, love His Prophet, love the good people, love your parents. Correct? Okay. Oh, no, they don't. It is something that is so open and so wide that they take it to the ego side. You see, if you are loving Allah, you will love everything that Allah loves, and Allah loves you. It is like a man. You see, spirituality is like this. You are hungry, but the more you are feeding yourself, the more hungry you're going to get. But when you start feeding other people, you start feeling full. You understand? So more that you are trying to satisfy your nafs, the more you're going to become more hungry and more angry. But more that you are trying to help other people and to bring the power of your nafs down, more you're going to find that you're going to be satisfied. You're going to find pleasure and satisfaction. And you don't need $1 million. You don't need anything great. You find the smallest things to be very satisfying and pleasing to you. So, Musa alayhi salam went to the mountain and he spoke to Allah. And Allah is asking him, what have you done for me, Ya Musa? This one, right? So, Musa alayhi salam is saying, I'm saying shahadat for you. He says, no, shahadat is protection for you. It is for you. It is not for me. I pray, Ya Rabbi. Salat, namaz. Ya namaz, it is for you, it is not for me. I fast, it is for you, it is not for me. Zakat, Hajj. It is not for Allah. Then Musa alayhi salam says, then what can I do, Ya Rabbi? It seems that nothing I can do, it is for you. Then Allah says, love those whom I love and leave those whom I leave. Then you're going to do something for me. Don't we see this in so many ayats? Loving those whom Allah loves. Once you love whom Allah loves, everything that Allah loves and every one that Allah loves will love you. And those ones who hate Allah and hate Islam and hate Haqq, they will stay away from you and you will know. The whole problem is, number one, man doesn't know what is love. Majority of the world, when they're thinking about love, is usually matters of the below the belly button. And secondly, the love is something that is coming from the ego. When they talk about the love, rarely they talk about the love according to the creator of love. Ya Wadud. Didn't we make a zikr? Didn't we call out Allah's name? Ya Wadud. Allah is the one who creates love. Allah is not love. Allah is the one who created love. So the one who creates that would know best what to do with it, how to do with it. And he's saying to who? Musa alayhi salam. This is not Shariat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not teaching Shariat to Musa alayhi salam, although he is one of the greatest prophets holding the Shariat high, correct? But he's teaching a spirituality. Love those who I love. So whatever you feel about those ones whom Allah loves, put that aside. Love those whom I love. Whatever you feel about those who are leaving Allah They're not liking Allah, they're not liking Haqq, even if it's your own family members, even if the ones that you love. Because everyone who's traveling with Musa alayhi salam, they're all his tribe. Who was it who was the one who was most opposed to him when he's traveling with him? Qarun. Who is Qarun? His nephew, his own family. And Allah is showing us now, especially in this Akhir Zaman, in this nation, the ones that are closest to you, you will find them fighting you the most. And we see this in the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And this is the teaching of spirituality. So you must put all your personal feelings aside and look to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. Now, those ones whom you love, if they're not in the way of Allah and His Prophet ﷺ, you cannot give your heart. You will take care of them, of course. You will respect them. You will help them. But especially if they're not in the way of Allah, especially if they're fighting against the way of Allah and His Prophet, what is the sunnah? When it's necessary, then you're going to oppose them, as the Holy Prophet ﷺ did, and his Sahabis also did. Now, your question saying, how are you going to love yourself? How are you going to love yourself in the way of the prophets? How are you going to love yourself in the way of the saints? The prophets and the saints, they ever look at themselves? What is the meaning when they say love yourself? Okay, we understand the meaning they're saying. They're saying, take care of yourself, don't beat yourself down so much, don't be so depressed all the time, be happy. Those kinds of things we understand. Because when there is no Islam, there is no balance. When there's no spirituality in Islam, definitely there's no balance. So when there is no balance, it's off. Even everything looks the same, it is good, it is off. So in trying to do good to others, you are not knowing how to love Allah and His Prophet according to the way that Allah and His Prophet is saying to love them. And if you don't know how to do that, you definitely don't know how to treat yourself. You don't know. You don't know that you need time to get away from everything and to be by yourself. They say, take personal time, take downtime. What words they say? Me time, right? Me time. Yeah. In Islam, the me time is Allah time. 5 times a day, you separate yourself from everything and you pray. The prayer, it is for you. It is not for Allah. Allah needs prayers. He doesn't. It is for you. So now you are praying, and really if you are thinking about what you're praying and how you're praying, you will all your problems will go. All your answers will be given to you. Because to know that when you put your forehead to the ground, you're putting yourself low, you're putting yourself Allah high. You're putting Allah high. And when you're putting yourself low, to know that all the gunah, all the heaviness, all the darkness, all your problems, you are placing it down into the earth. You are removing it from you. You understand? That is enough now. Isn't that a me time? When you are praying now, when you're worshipping, isn't that you are calling to the one who is saying, I'm closer to you than your jugular vein, I'm here to help you? Isn't that loving yourself? Isn't that a me time? It is. Then you say 5 times, it's not enough. Zikr that you're going to do. Silent zikr that we're doing here every day. This is one of the things that Haji Tahir is saying. It's good to be back. It's good to be back home. It's good to be back home because this is a place of worship, you understand? If you do everything else properly, you do your computer, you do your business, you do your hospital, you do everything here, do your construction, everything perfectly, but you don't pray 5 times a day here, and you're not making your zikr, and you're not listening to sohbats every day here, you understand by yourself how empty and how dark everything is. After a while you say, what am I doing all this for? What am I living for? For this? This is what it is. Then that time you know Even if the whole world, somebody says, oh, good job, you did great, you know there's somebody else who's doing better than you. And the ego is saying, unless you become Lord, you become the best out of everyone, you will never be satisfied. And what does it mean? People are going to praise you. So what? But when you hear the satisfaction, when you feel the satisfaction of Allah, how do you feel the satisfaction of Allah? When whatever that you are doing, you're remembering Allah. You're doing this for the sake of Allah. And you are reminding yourself, not just to say one time, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah, and you forget. Like so many, they're saying, I'm here for the sake of Allah, but they're just going to satisfy their ego. We're just going to satisfy whatever that is their desires want to be satisfied. Cannot work like that. So the worship, the tafakkur, the sohbat especially. Because now you have the namaz, you do. You have the zikr, you do. But imagine if you don't have sohbat now. Now if you don't have sohbat, you'll say, what am I doing here too? I can make namaz at home. I can make zikr at home. I can be separate. But the sohbat, you have to be in jamaat. And our tariqat is based on sohbat. Everything else is a stepping stone to that. What is the sohbat doing? It's making you to think, to wake up, to think. It is giving you, as Shaykh Efendi is saying, the ammunition against the shaitan in your ego that has thousands, hundreds and thousands of tricks and traps every day to try to bring you away from the remembrance of Allah, to try to bring you away from the love of Allah, to try to bring you away from the love of the Prophet ﷺ, and for you only to look at yourself. So, be in sohbat. You understand? It is important. And think. We are living the lifestyle here that so many people, they spend their whole lives saving to just buy a house in front of a lake and every day to be easy. We have that. And you don't have to save, you don't have to work, you don't have to do anything so hard. It is given to us. But this is so that we can free ourselves to be able to worship more, not for us to become busy. So watch yourselves. You are here in the dergah. If you're finding yourself too busy with the dunya, you're not making progress. If you're finding that I'm spending so much time at the dergah, so much time listening to sohbat and making zikr, and now it is getting less and less and less and less, I have nothing to produce it for. Even if I have something to produce it, you say, I'm working, I'm producing it something. That dunya is supposed to make you to become more free, not for you to become more chained, so that you can come. If you have that intention, it will come one day. You understand me? How many times we're saying, you're coming here for zikr. What are you doing to prepare for the zikr? What zikr have you done at home? But if you're coming last minute, just off the streets, how are you going to put yourself and your heart and your mind here? It's still circling around. What are you doing to prepare? Or some, they're working so hard. Yeah, alhamdulillah. But you're coming here and you're sleeping. Zikr sleeping, sohbat sleeping. Then what are you going to gain? We should not, inshallah. We should try. We should step on our ego with that. That time, the only way that we can love ourselves properly, the way that our spirit desires to be, it is coming from Ya Wadud. You understand? Allah. Then that time satisfaction comes to you, and it is not the love according to what the dunya or the culture or the time is saying. Inshallah. May we find satisfaction in everything that we do. Al-Fatiha. Wa min Allah tawfiq. Tamam.